10x your content, turn 1 into 10. We are all hustling to create content. So we hear it all the time. Content is king. And that's what the pros tell us. Just keep producing content. Have you ever noticed how exhausting this is, though? We are talking today about how to 10x your content so that you can create one piece of content and turn it into 10. Hello, everyone. I'm Tessa with Ashford Digital. I'm a marketing strategist, and I have Tracy Taylor she is a social media guru over at TNT Marketing. Hey, Tracy.
Hey, Tessa. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm glad we're here. And really, we just wanted to demystify creating massive content because we are doing it ourselves. We want to be able to create lots of content with not a lot of work.
Right. So in my world, that is called social media simplified. In your world, I don't know what we would call it, but
sanity.
Right? The content part of all of this I get that question a lot. They're like, how do you do this for this many clients? I'm like, well, I mean, there's an art to the madness, but just, it happens and you have to do the same thing. So
exactly. But, all of us, we should be using any content that we create and repurposing it. Why wouldn't you? You take all this time and energy to create this great content. Why wouldn't you make it go out in many, many forms? So we're going to talk about how to take one piece of content, turn it into 10. And if you want any of the tools that make this easier, let us know, direct message us, and we'll get you some of the tools that make this process faster. Also, I'm going to talk about a done for you path and a DIY or a do it yourself path. Okay. So if you are wanting to save money and do this yourself, like I said, I have the tools. If you do not want to do this at all, Tracy and I do this for our clients all day. So just let us know. And there is an option, especially with the distribution part.
Right.
We're not going to talk about, we're not talking about how to get that out to more places. We're just talking about creating these extra items. So Tracy, I know we are doing it right now. We're creating the main piece of content for us to be able to use our video. So we're going live, which actually isn't even on my list of things that we can do for 10. You can actually go live and be doing your social content in number one, but creating a video. Some of my clients like to be interviewed instead of trying to hop on and do their own video, just like what Tracy and I are doing. So if you don't want to be on your own, you could have someone else hop in and then you kind of have a conversation.
Right. Which is easy. It's a great way to do that because it takes the pressure off of somebody who's not, let's say, video savvy. They can kind of feed one of us or both of us their questions, and they can either have a one-person or a two-person interview / conversation, and it builds their business. So
exactly. But you think about it, you could hop on your phone and create a little video, just record it, pre-record it, and then that can become your content too. There are ways to push a video out to social on a live, which is cool. But you can also just use that video in the pieces of content that we're about to talk about. So let's just imagine that you're starting with your video. You've recorded something that, keep it short though. We are doing lives that are under 18 minutes. That's kind of a TED Talk rule that we lose people's attention if you go over 18 minutes. Like keep your content short and succinct so that people can actually follow you and let them know what to expect. So, hey guys, we have 10 things that you're going to be able to turn your content into. So take number one is video as your first option, right? So you have content, you have a video. So then number two, we're going to talk about turning that into a blog. Number two. So Tracy, do you do a lot of blogging right now?
I haven't been doing as much as I was in the past. And I think some of that is my clients haven't asked for it as much, but some of them are doing their own because they wanted their voice to come through. So but I turn their blog content into social posts.
So you do the opposite. So yes, if you are a writer and not a video person, you could start with a blog post and write your content first.
Right. So I go in and steal their stuff from there and make lots of posts, and I do backlinks back to their blog so that folks can go and actually read the whole piece. And that works wonderful.
Yeah, speaking of backlink, which I forgot to mention, we did a whole show on video and why are you resisting video. So one thing you can do is intertwine your topics, like Tracy's talking about, like you can interlink your blogs, you can interlink your videos so that people are going to the next piece of content. So I will find that and put that in the chat for you guys after. If you are watching us live though right now, #live so we know you're here. We can't see you until you chat with us.
We can't say hello and give you credit.
Say hello.
Give us some to see what's there. So yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Awesome. So we have a blog. Now, one thing I do want to say, when you create your blog, make sure that you design it with headers, H1 tags. So it's the bigger text, H2, slightly smaller, H3. It's think of it as an outline, and your blog needs to tell the search engines that you are writing for your audience, because Google, as we know from last week's show, only cares about relevant information. So if you have I saw it yesterday, someone who had maybe 1,000 words of content with paragraphs only, no header, no subheadlines, no bullets, because it's so hard to read, right? I'm a scanner, you're a scanner, like, we know it. So on your blog, right? And when you're creating your blog, make sure that you're using those. Use block quotes, use images, use content upgrades. Content upgrades would be something that's like in the text that says, we did 101 foolproof marketing tactics or strategies, I think it was. So you could get the PDF download of it and you could sign up right in the middle of the content. So use it, because it's what you make this content, you want to make it make sense, make money.
And when you're thinking of blog content or video or all of your content, think about the who, what, when, where, why, and then the how of your audience, your clients, your future clients, and put that into perspective. And I find that helps me even for my clients, because I'm like, wait, who is there? Who, what, when, where, why? And so you have to have a place to go and brainstorm and think about it. And this is the perfect time of year. If you haven't done these things, start now, because it's the second half of 2020 and you can catapult your business more than you have. Like you may have gotten sidetracked or a little behind, of course, due to COVID and all that nonsense, but now we can catapult and go forward. So you can make up some of that time by doing these things that we're talking about.
Right. And if you have a WordPress website, it's extremely easy to add a blog to a WordPress website. So if you just you're held back only by the fact that you don't have a blog tab on your website and you have WordPress, it's easy to add it and then to get just a standard setup for your blog so that you can start getting it out there.
And if you don't know how to do that, call Tessa and let her team do it for you, because that's their magic.
We do a lot of WordPress work. So yes, and regular Wix. I mean, it doesn't matter which platform you're in. You can add a blog to most every platform, unless you literally have an HTML website, and we may have to do a little coding. But I would say the other thing on a blog post is to think about, and all of the content that you're producing, start with looking on the internet to make sure that these are keywords that people are looking for. Because like, I can create content if I think you want to learn about fishing, and I'm like, you want to learn how to fish for catfish. Like, I don't know that there's a whole lot of people who are looking to search for catfish for catfish. So just look up on Google, and we'll definitely do an SEO show coming up here, maybe in the next couple weeks. We need to on how to find the keywords, how to find good keywords, and then how to build that into your content. But let's assume that you've done that, and now you have your video, you have a blog post. Next up is podcasts. Now, a lot of people cringe when I say this, because they're like, oh, I can't do a podcast. It's a show. I have to do a lot. There's a lot of work. I take videos that we do just like this and put it on a podcast. And yes, some people are going to subscribe to it. And maybe some people, that's not their thing. They want a more produced show. But it's not about the people always. It's about the search engine seeing, hey, she also has a podcast and she's regularly pushing out these audio files over to a podcast. Google doesn't know if you're good at what you do or not. They're not saying, oh, that podcast sucks. They're not doing it.
They're not judging you, and they're not grading you. So no judgment.
Right. But if you do have a podcast and you do have people going over there, you're regularly posting this content. The search engine sees that as a really good signal that you are relevant and you're staying current, and will give you better rankings, better love in the search engine for it. So how do you do that with a podcast though, or with the video? So there's things that can turn a podcast into an audio. One, you could just record your podcast, you doing your audio really quickly of your podcast. You could read it just like an audiobook, or you can strip out the audio from your video and turn it into a podcast. So there you go. You could get fancy. You could add on like an intro and outro if you want.
Lots of different ways.
Right? Honestly, just as is, you're probably going to get, it's going to be good, and it could only get better, right?
Hey, you can only go up from where you are. And the thing to remember is baby steps every single day, because being consistent and being persistent are two of the greatest words ever in marketing. It's just to do that. And that's what I talk to clients about and future clients. I had a conversation yesterday, and that was exactly it. He was like, I'm so busy, I can't keep up with this. And I said, well, here's the thing. I don't take over 100 or 1,000% of your stuff. He goes, no, but you help with the management and making sure that we stay out there in front of our 9,000 people. And I said, that's exactly what my job is. So think about it that way. But if you're, early bird gets the worm, whatever you want to say, you have to keep doing every single day. You can't just not do it.
Right. And I think that, again, it's super easy to add to your website. There's a plugin that will let you push your podcast out. There's also, podcast programs like Podbean and those ones where you just pay a monthly fee and you can have it, you just upload it over there. So there's lots of options as far as getting your podcast out there and out to the all of the channels. And it really does help with your credibility just to even have podcast symbols on your website. When somebody knows that you're taking the time to make valuable content, they don't even have to necessarily go over and download your podcast. They don't have to subscribe. They can even just listen to one that's embedded on your blog post, and that could be the difference. Now, I was a guest on a podcast too. So this aside, it's a great way for you to talk with new people and get out there and do the opportunities. When you are showing that you're showing up for content, people start to notice, and they'll be like, hey, you seem like you've got this down, like come on to my show or come do a guest blog post. Those are super helpful for your backlinks. So I know you have to end soon, Tracy. So I'm going to fly through.
We're good. We still have
So audiogram is my fourth one. If you guys don't know what an audiogram is, just look up audiogram on the internet. And I'm trying to share my screen, but it will not put it up. So, but it's an image that it has like your cover image, and then the text looks like, so there's an animation. The sound from your audio. So if you're doing a podcast, it's just an image, but it could be, it actually animates the text over it. So it's another way, just a unique image. And what I am going to do is pop in some examples into the chat after we're live, since we are in such a rush, and StreamYard will not let me share my screen at the moment. So, but it's really cool because it's just another piece of content. So social media, you could put it out on Instagram, Facebook. It's like a little animated one. And if you keep it under a certain time, I think videos under a certain amount are on the feed, right? Tracy, is it like under a certain amount? I know if it's 6 seconds or less, it's going to animate in most feeds. So if you had like just something really, really quick, then you can put that on there, or like a little animated text, something from Canva. So the next one is Instagram and Facebook stories. And so I'll let you take that, Tracy, since that's your.
So stories are super popular now. And I have some people that I connect with, and they hang out more in stories, if you will. So they like to say, hey, I've been hanging out in stories, but I'm going to pop in my feed really quick, and this is what's going on. But I know when I use stories for clients, their stuff goes actually kind of crazy. So, think about it as this. If you want a quick little promo, it's 24 hours, put it up in your stories, let it go. But what you may also want to do later is pop it down in your feed so that somebody that missed it will definitely get a chance to see it. So stories give you a chance to utilize that piece of content technically 4 times between the 2 platforms.
I think the cool part about stories too, if you're doing it from your phone, some people schedule them in from programs and they don't have this flexibility. If you are making a story from your phone, you can add polling, you can add like voting, you can add comments, or even like, yeah. So if you don't put anything, I've seen this mistake that a lot of people do is like they just put the story up, but they can't make a comment. People can't make a comment on it because they didn't add in the little features that let people comment on it. They can only like it or heart it.
Yeah, like it, heart it, love it, whatever.
Love it. Yeah. So
yes, no, that is a major big deal in 2020 is stories, and people are getting very much more into them. And there's also stories on Snapchat, even though I'm not a big business Snapchat person. Personally, we have some younger friends and they're all over it, and more power to you. That's not where I hang out.
Yeah, I know. I am the same way. Actually, a couple of my clients their target audience is in that area. So we are like TikTok and Snapchat.
Yes,
they're fun, but you can get lost in them really.
Right? You'd be 2 hours later sitting there going, "Oh, I've done nothing."
Right.
Nothing.
So number 6 is lots of social posts. I actually added the lots because I think that there are lots of things that you can be doing from one source. If it's a blog post or a video, let's just think about those two as the potential sources. You can have quotes, memes, video clips. Tracy, you do a lot of questions, like ask people like, what do you like to do? If you
ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. So ask a question.
Salty or sweet.
And get the engagement, right? So we want to start the conversation. So use your blog or your video, ask questions, get people's opinion, and then in that you can refer people over to the original if you want. So again, but I would say like Tracy, I use Canva a lot. I'm not sure if you do for social media, but I create some templates for what I want to create, right? So I'd have a quote one, I'd have a meme one, I'd have, my little video clip one,
right?
And I'd have them kind of designed. And now that Canva can do video inside the images, which if you guys haven't seen my tip on it, it's so awesome. You can actually put your little video clip in your Canva and export it as a video. It's awesome. But it didn't used to do it. So that's why I was like shocked when someone said it could finally. I'm like, no way, they changed it. But so lots of social posts. Then we have number 7, which is infographics. And I don't know. I mean, Tracy, do you find infographics to get a lot of traffic?
Well, so I like to use them, but the thing they're wonderful if you put verbiage with them and then comments. I think the infographics get better results on Instagram than Facebook. But what I have a hard time with, and it makes total sense, but because Facebook doesn't like to play pretty with infographics, we can't do it as much. That's a perfect opportunity to boost a post through your company because it gets to share with people outside your audience, but it may provide a solution to somebody, even to get them to have a free call with you or a strategy session or a brainstorming session. But, a 20-minute consult, because I do those, they're called mini consults and they're free. But because they have so many words in them, Facebook won't do it. So what you have to do is create a boosted post and then go back and put the infographic in the comments so that people can see it, because it won't boost. So it's a little tricky, but infographics are amazing. I have a stash of them in one of my folders, and it's mostly for you and I, but that's okay.
Hey, well, I found that works. Yeah, and I think infographics take complex concepts and break it down into easy to understand pieces. And so your audience really can connect with you because, again, we're all lazy. So we don't want to read a ton of content. We want the information at our fingertips.
Right.
I think that the infographics do great on Instagram. They do great on Pinterest. Oh my gosh, infographics are crazy over on Pinterest. So as long as you've got, when you create it, And again,
Yes.
if it's all stemming from like what's relevant information for my audience, what's the information that they need? Like in this one, yes, we're going to have an infographic about these 10 things because why wouldn't you? It's a list, right? So people want a list in an infographic. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be complex. It could be super simple. Now, to get around that rule, make a video of your infographic, like add slight animations to it, and make sure that your cover image on your video does not have more than the 20% text, and it gets through. Most 99% of the time it will get through. So that's another, but then it's a video ad, and so it's a little bit different target.
Right.
So I know we're speeding through. Number 8, which is very similar, is slide shares. And that's an Instagram or a LinkedIn thing, right?
Yeah, SlideShare is LinkedIn. And it does work. I'm starting to see more people in there, and that will be my July 1st goal, is to do more of our videos and put them in there as well. So
yeah, and I think it's just about, like, if you had PowerPoint, if you think about it this way, if your video had a PowerPoint, then you could probably turn it into a SlideShare. But right? Or you guys have all seen those videos that will capture you and you can't stop watching them. They're just text and somebody's voice, and it's like telling you something. Okay, those are the same type of thing. So you can add audio to SlideShares. You can add audio to your PowerPoints and put them up. And gosh, it happens. You can actually record right in PowerPoint. You can record your voiceover. So technology is like definitely on your side, guys. So just use some of these. But a lot of times you can find somebody on Fiverr or one of those to create these things for you. So infographics, SlideShares, like it's a lot of work though. I warn you now, you like can go through spending quite a bit of money to get to a person that produce what you want. You work with a team like us who actually has already figured out how to do that. Well, just, to make things that actually look great. So number 9 is ads. And I know you touched on it a little bit, Tracy, but if you have really good stuff, build an ad around it.
Right. Build an ad. Make it simple, but make sure you have the form or a funnel or something attached to said ad so that you get you get the love from your efforts. That's what we want to do.
Right. And yes, and definitely have some call to action. Like that's one of the biggest things that people forget. And all this content that we're creating, they forget to put a call to action. Like, what can you do to turn this person into a real client, right?
Yes.
It's pointless if we don't.
That's why I do lots of free reviews. Reviews. Everybody wants free or no cost or no obligation. But when I say, like our mid-year review, that's getting traction on a lot of stuff. So definitely have a call to action, because what are they looking for? Now they're going, oh, can I get rid of this off my plate? Or, oh, maybe my website does need a facelift, because a lot of people stress about their website. They think they have to pay for a whole brand new one. And when you work with Tessa and her team, you just need a facelift, and it's way cheaper and much more cost effective. And if you want to, you can facelift once a year or every other year. And
absolutely. Or just organize the information. Sometimes you have things in the wrong order. You don't realize you're turning off your audience just by the order that you have something on your website.
Right? It's insane.
Right. So, so now we're going to do the last one, which is email. And that could be your nurture sequence. If you don't have a nurture sequence and you don't have the funnel, well, you need one.
Now's the time.
But, a lot of people have newsletters too. So you could be announcing your content as a value add. You could be announcing that in an email that goes out once a month, or even as it can be automated, guys. I don't know if you haven't taken advantage of it, but every time you do add content to your website, you can have MailChimp email automatically that you added something to your website. And it's in it.
Yes. Yeah. And video, by the way, if you're going to do this, and I know we are very time limited, like 2 minutes left, but here's what I'm going to say for this. And then Tessa, you can
hop off and I'll just take questions if anybody has them.
Yeah, it's fine. But here's the big thing. You can input video into your newsletter. So in other words, and I have to do this tomorrow because I ran out of time yesterday, and today I didn't want to do it on top of this and some other appointments that I have. I did a video the other day for 30 minutes, and it gave me the idea to create 6 small micro videos that can be used on all of my social, and 6 weeks worth of an email sequence.
See,
So
it's
you
amazing.
have to do it and just get comfortable with it. If you don't like it, I mean, figure it out. It's worth it. So
It
a little
is.
awkward talking to yourself, but I'm an only child, so I've done that my whole life. It's okay.
It's true. And it actually, I think it works better. You feel a lot less pressure if you do it
Yeah.
on your own. So you just don't feel like you have to have it perfect. And I know we come up here and do it on the live, but that doesn't fit everybody's needs. So
It doesn't mean that we're not like, flying by the seat of our pants sometimes.
it's true. A
We're
lot.
Sorry.
Awesome. Well, Tracy, if you need to hop out, I know you're on a tight time schedule. So I just want to say thank you to all the people that we've had in our show today.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks for joining, and come back and see us next week. I do have an appointment that booked literally right at the end of this, so I think I'm going to stretch out my window for next week.
I know. Well, thank you so much, Tracy. And I'm just going to say thank you, Sean Reed. We had Sean, Leticia, Ken, Corey, Brian, Greg, Jennifer, Jared, Odin. Oh my gosh, thank you guys all for coming. John, Miner, Jared, I see your comments, and Odin, thank you guys so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Please do let us know if you have any questions that you want us to cover, any topics for marketing. Feel free to put it in the chat, even if you're watching the replay, and definitely hit the bell so you can get notified when we go live. We do this live so that we can chat with you guys and answer your questions. So definitely let us know. I know we had some people over on YouTube as well. So if that's your preferred channel, feel free to subscribe to our channel over there. I'll put it in the chat. So thank you guys. And we will see you guys all next Wednesday at 11 a.m. at Eastern time. Every Wednesday, we try to bring you guys tips and marketing information. And that's for no matter what stage your business is in. If you're brand new, you're a new entrepreneur, all the way up to, 6-figure, wanting to get to 7-figure. That's all of everyone in between. We want to be able to help you do everything more efficiently. So thank you all. We'll see you next week. Have a blessed week.